going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing kind of a big question. I am kind of annoyed with a lot of MCU fans right now because there's a giant thing going on right now where a bunch of people are trying to get a Channing Tatum Gambit solo movie to just happen right now. And a lot of people are complaining about some of the upcoming Disney Plus TV shows that, have been in production, were in production, have literally been filmed, and now have gone through post-production. And they're mad because they're like, no, nobody wanted this show, and I didn't want this show, and why aren't we getting a Gambit movie instead of this? Because you guys didn't know Gambit existed until, the beginning of this year. Okay, obviously there's a lot of people out here who knew Gambit existed, but a big thing that's killing me about it is just the amount of people who are like, there should be a Channing Tatum solo Gambit movie. This is the kind of project we want, Marvel. Why did you not know that that's what we want? And it's like, they don't seem to understand that, we need to have this positive reaction to the character before Marvel realizes, oh, this is a character they really like. Now that they know about it, something could potentially happen with the Gambit character, but so many people are upset that, Agatha, Coven of Chaos or Agatha All Along or whatever the show is called is coming out. But, when Agatha first showed up in WandaVision and she had her big, it was Agatha all along, that was a huge cultural moment. That was huge. Everybody who was watching WandaVision and was kind of speculative about oh, Marvel's doing TV shows now, is this going to be good? Do we really want to watch a Marvel TV show? Everybody watched it week to week, and we all collectively were making the craziest theories. We all were so excited about every single episode that was coming out, and when it was revealed that Agatha was the villain the entire time and that she's been doing all these little behind the scenes things in Westview, so many of us were so excited to see some of that witchy side of the MCU. So yeah, people were excited for this content. I don't understand why so many people are like, nobody asked for this. A lot of us were really excited we were getting this, and I still am really excited we're getting this. I think that's going to be a great show. But today specifically, I want to talk about the importance of cameos and realizing that an actor showing up to play a specific role does not mean they should be playing the specific character for a full-length feature film. So we're going to be talking about Toon specifically. We're going to be talking about John Krasinski, and we're going to be talking about Channing Tatum. So we're going to start off with the more recent one. Channing Tatum just played Gambit in Deadpool and Wolverine. Say what you want about the movie. I liked it. I definitely had a couple of issues with it. And a lot of my issues actually came with the entire cameo fest that they did in the middle of the movie. But I do think that Channing Tatum was definitely a standout in this movie. I think that he was definitely one of the more entertaining parts of it. He was absolutely hilarious. And his accent was incredible. The fact that he was actually bringing in these slang words that even the people on set were just like, yeah, he's just speaking gibberish. But people watched the movie and were like, we know what that means. Oh my god, he said that. Oh my god, he used the word that we say. And I think that's awesome. I love the fact that he had researched the character for so long. He had wanted to be the character for so long. And when he finally got his opportunity to play the character, he gave it his all. He gave it so much passion. And it's awesome that he's getting the recognition he deserves. And I love that. However, I think that it's awesome in the way that, getting a gift is awesome. Where it's you get it, you unwrapped it. It's a really amazing thing. You love it when you first receive it, but maybe 2 or 3 weeks will go by and you're not going to think about it as much. It's not going to be the biggest thing ever. Channing Tatum playing Gambit is going to be a really memorable thing. And it's going to be something that's going to be awesome to look back at. And you're going to see those memories of the gift that you got. And you're going to be like, man, that was a really good gift. But I don't think it's something that was meant to stick around forever. I don't think it was something that you were supposed to receive and be like, okay, we're going to get 17 more movies with him as Gambit. No, I feel like that doesn't make sense. And it really bothers me because a lot of people are constantly having these similar thoughts with some of these characters who are showing up for a cameo. And they're just going to be here for a short period of time. And I understand the excitement. And I understand oh my god, it's so cool because with Secret Wars coming up, anything's possible. But in my opinion, Channing Tatum as Gambit, if he returns again, should only return in Secret Wars, and it should be a role about as big as it was in Deadpool and Wolverine, maybe even smaller. He was solid as the character. I personally still think that Taylor Kitsch actually played the character significantly better, and he looked more correct for the role. I really like Channing Tatum, and I don't have any issues with that actor specifically, but Taylor Kitsch was a very solid Gambit. He was just in a movie that was pretty terrible. But that being said, he's definitely too old to play Gambit. I think a lot of people are like, we need a solo Gambit movie with him now. And I'm like, guys, he's probably around 40. Future editing, Blake, put his actual age up on the screen, please. And I just feel like he's past that point in his life. And when we get a Gambit, we need somebody who's on the younger side, because we're going to want a Rogue that's probably in her like early 30s at the oldest. And I feel like we just missed that opportunity. And this was supposed to be the opportunity that he finally has to play this character, to kind of give us that closure of what would it have been if he played this character. And I think a lot of fans are really taking this overboard of being like, he needs to do it again. We need to see this again. We need this again. And it's kind of toxic. It's kind of terrible. And it shows that we're not really as appreciative of the fact that, like, this was a blessing in disguise. The fact that we're even getting this is a miracle. And we should really be saying, thank God we got this, instead of being like, give us him again. We should be appreciating what we got. And I think it's awesome. And I think it's fantastic. And speaking of fantastic, pivoting now to the John Krasinski cameo in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, a lot of people, when they announced the casting of Mr. Fantastic, were pissed that it was Pedro Pascal, and a lot of people are still very upset about the casting. They're still like on the fence about it, and I get it, right? Pedro Pascal is not the typical person you would think of when you think of the Fantastic Four, and I think that that's kind of the beauty of it. Like, I wouldn't expect Pedro Pascal to potentially be that role, and I also wouldn't really expect Joseph Quinn to be playing the Human Torch, but like, they clearly have a vision with what they're doing. And I actually think it's better than if they were to get somebody like Penn Badgley, who is like the main person people were fan casting as Mr. Fantastic. I think it's better than if they got just John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, because it shows that they have a distinct look and energy and vibe that they're going for with this movie, and they picked people who match that energy that they're going for. I feel like Pedro Pascal is a very specific actor. He brings a specific charismatic side to him in every single role that he plays, and I think that they wanted somebody who's a lot more charming, because something that's very interesting about Reed Richards is he tends to be an asshole in a lot of movies, and something that's really hard to get right about Mr. Fantastic in the comics and in movies is he's somebody who's so consumed by his work. He's somebody who's so incredibly smart. He's somebody who's so incredibly naive. He's like Doctor Strange at the beginning of Doctor Strange, where he's just like a total dick. He's a know-it-all. He thinks that he's better than everybody. He's pretty arrogant. He's so borderline you want to hate this character, but there's just something about him that makes it where you like him just a little bit. And getting a super likable actor in Pedro Pascal is going to make portraying that side of Reed Richards absolutely perfect. He's somebody who could be completely anal. He's somebody who could be over the top. He's somebody who can be incredibly just frustrating at times. But because he's played by Pedro Pascal, somebody who's incredibly sweet, somebody who has fantastic mannerisms, it's somebody you want to root for. And it's somebody that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how like consumed he gets with his work and how much he actually accidentally distanced himself from the Fantastic Four, you're going to want to support him. You're going to want to love and appreciate him. And I think it's really inspired casting. I think that it's fantastic. And I'm really annoyed that a lot of people online are saying, we should have got John Krasinski. John Krasinski should have done this. That would have been fantastic. And John Krasinski, the man who everybody's saying should have done it, has literally publicly said the only reason he did the cameo in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was so that he could do it once, he could put on the suit, and he could, make the fans happy for a one-time cameo. But he's a very busy man, and he can't do that role for an entire movie. And he's literally publicly said that multiple times. So the fact that a lot of people are still like, we want John Krasinski, is really annoying, really frustrating, and it's just unrealistic. And I don't like the fact that a lot of people aren't seeing that. And so yeah, I just kind of wanted to come on here and talk about those two specific characters, talk about how I think it's great that we got them, and I definitely think we should appreciate the cameos that we got of those specific characters, and appreciate the fact that Gambit was more of a supporting character than just a cameo. Like, he showed up, he was in like 4 or 5 scenes, he had a lot of really interesting action stuff. Like, I watched it the first time and I was like, man, I would feel like Gambit didn't really do much. And then I watched it a second time and I was like, no, he's one of the most prominent characters in that fight sequence. He's pretty cool. And I really liked everything they did with him. And I understand why some of you guys are like, yes, give us that solo movie now. But I also think that's just such an unrealistic thing to want and to ask Marvel for, because they have a lot on their plate. They clearly have a plan on what they're going to do with the next 2 Avengers movies. I feel like it's better to just leave things as it's going and stop trying to throw a wrench in their plans. But that being said, overall, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. I love and appreciate you guys so much for coming by and checking it out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bow, bow, bow.